Mobile One.
Thinking I was going to do the handle, and then I thought I'd have to do this, and then after I did this it became very clear that I needed to do the handle as well. That feels good. Access. There's a story here. I'll tell it the best that I can. This is a hacksaw blade. Hacksaw blades should look like that on the end. This one's been modified. Reason being is this was stuck. It's so full of dirt and so rusted and so full of garbage. I had to hook it and scoop it up off the handle part and just pull for all I was worth, and at the same time hit the unlock button over and over again. So the unlock, there's a mechanical side to it right here. What you don't get through this is how hard I have to, okay, you can kind of get that, how hard I have to push to get the sucker to do what it's supposed to do. This is a new one, and it's just really easy. If I do that same pressure on this, that's what I get, and that's ultimately what was happening in the vehicles. It wouldn't unlock. This thing's been through a lot of different handles. We've done different handles. We've replaced the cable on this. I worked hard on it. It wouldn't come undone. But the long and short of it is the lock wasn't working properly. So the actual lock is this guy, and it sits on top of here. This thing's kind of a wedding cake of sorts because you put all of this stuff on there. And then, once you get all that on, you put this on over the top of it, so you can't really get to anything in there. That keeps it from being contaminated by dust. Man, not so much. The reason why is that this right here is wide open to dirt and dust, and things will swirl around in it. And basically just makes it so you can't get to it. But you have to use this because it's the rest for the window. When the window comes down, it comes and rests on this. And you can latch them with a screwdriver. It would sound like this, and then to undo it, it would just pop open like that. And if you were to try to use the cable, it's just as easy. Opens real nice. This one that was really stuck doesn't want to latch to begin with, and then when you do this, nothing happens. Part of that is because it's locked. The way the lock mechanism works is it uses this little plastic bar here to get it to, boy, you really got to push that. So if I hold that and push that, it'll go. You can imagine why this thing was going through the handles that it was. I bet I could make it work again, but this spring here isn't very good. The return spring on that. This spring right here isn't very good. It's just tired and worn out. So the best thing to do is just put a new one in. That's what we're doing. But I will say, if you've got to, this is going to be a handy thing that I hang on to. I'll probably use it about 5 years from now, 2 years, you never know. If I throw it away, I'll need it in a month. Just so you can see what I did there. What I did is I went through the window through the top to get to where this cable lives. Because like I say, this is all covered up, you can't get to it. But I got to where this cable lives and then just pulled in line with it like that. Man, did that work well. I thought that this would bend out, but it didn't. I guess the way that I cut that's the way to go. So this is what it looks like with the power lock actuator installed. You can still manipulate it side to side. So if you want it to be in the unlock position, the same side with the plugs has to be pushed this way. So if you did have to get in there in the event that this fails, and heaven forbid that's the way it is, but you can actually get to it and make that happen. So this goes up in here. You'd have to have a pick at 90 degrees like this. You'd have to angle a little bit. You'd really have to know Braille. It would be right here that you'd have to push, right there. And you'd want to lift it more than anything. If you look down here, you can see this here. I think it'd be a great idea if they didn't design things like this anymore. It's a bad design. I think they could do better than that. You can see this one, look how much play there is before it takes up any slack. This thing's pretty bent, and it's just not as thick, so I put a new one of those on. So this one was missing the cover on the back, and so what I did is I used the Gorilla really high bond tape. I just taped that off, otherwise this whole thing right here would be a gap that would allow dirt to get in. It's like, I just fixed this, we don't want to do this again. I'm sure the owner doesn't want to have to do it either. So we're going to close this. You can feel that it's nice and solid. And it opens like brand new. I mean, it feels like a brand new one. Yeah, that's why we do this. That's a good feeling. Here are a few videos that you can click that show you how to get into that and actually replace the latch and the handle. If your latch is really stuck and you can't pick it and you can't get it undone, there is a method by which you can take a Sawzall and reach that in there with a diamond cutting blade and cut through it and be able to get it open. I've only had to do that once in the last 10 years or so many that these things have been in production, but there are means, and here's the videos to show you how.